my name is Isabella Greene. Today I would like to discuss with you a subject that comes up a lot and is very often questioned by people who are aware of the presence of etheric entities. And that is the question, why do they return? Let's say you had your entity clearing and everything looked really wonderful for a few weeks or a few months, and then all of a sudden you're starting to notice that there's activity in your life that you can recognize as entity activity. And so you start questioning what happened. Sometimes this takes a while, or sometimes it shows up right away, very soon after your clearing. And today I want to bring you 11 reasons that I know of why entities return. Reason number 1, you haven't changed your habits. There was a reason why the entities came in to begin with. And if you're continuing with the same as usual, with your lifestyle exactly the way it was before your clearing, chances are you're going to bring them back in. Reason number 2, addictions. All addictions is a door wide open for the entities to come in, regardless of whether it's an addiction to drama, your on again, off again relationships, or to substances. Addictions are a doorway for, like an entryway for the entities to come in. So it is definitely recommended to take a look at your lifestyle, take a look at your habits, at your habitual behaviors, and make sure that you're moving into higher vibrational, higher frequency lifestyle that does no longer have addictions within it. Because as long as you have addictions, your entities are going to come back. Reason number 3, mind-expanding drugs, including medicinal herbs that we know and that are used in shamanic practices, that are ayahuasca or San Pedro, mushrooms. When you do these herbs and substances and medicines, you open your body to spirits that don't really belong there. And sometimes there are hitchhikers, and there are sometimes the spirits of the jungle, and sometimes there are spirits that come in that completely do not belong in the human reality, in your human body. And so you bring this in. I have a whole separate video on this subject, and so I recommend that you go ahead and listen to that if you are prone or interested in or continuing to do these medicinal ceremonies and medicinal herbs. Reason number 4, you live in an environment. That could be very as simple as having a mirror underneath your bed. If you have the mirror underneath your bed for protection, sometimes if it's face up, it serves as a portal. If you're sleeping in the bedroom that has the full wall of mirrors, like a lot of closets nowadays are completely mirrored, well, that's an entry point, especially if the mirrors are facing each other. And so if you have 2 mirrors facing each other and you're in between, that's like a doorway, that's like a entry point for all kinds of beings. So I recommend flipping your mirror face down. If you are using a mirror under the bed for protection, flip it face down. In that case, it works as a portal too. It pulls the energy into the ground. It pulls elemental spirits and the negative spirits from your environment into the ground. It turns it into the ground instead of inviting them back in right under your bed where you're sleeping. You might be living next to the cemetery, next to a hospital, next to a military base, and depending on how much interaction you have with these facilities or how close you are, you might be just receiving what I would call something like you're not really smoking, but you're receiving the side effects of someone else smoking next to you. So this is kind of like the second-hand entity entry point for you. Reason number 5, your work environment is a military base or a hospital, a nursing home, or a place where entities congregate naturally and say, oh my God, what do we do then? I recommend raising the frequency, constantly going for your checkups, following with your own inner guidance, uplifting your lifestyle into higher frequency, and just paying attention to how you feel, and don't wait too long. If you're experiencing that the entity activity had resurfaced, reach out. There are plenty of people who do this kind of work, and it doesn't have to be an extensive session like what I offer. It can be very simple entity removal, or just like a checkup kind of situation that people go for regularly. I personally go for that regularly too. Reason number 6, you continue to have sex with the partner who is bringing in the entities. Someone who has addiction, so someone who has never been cleared. You either continue the sexual activity with this person, and it's the easiest way to contract, to pull in the entities from that person, or you're sharing household with them, which goes back into the household or the environment thing. So in this case, I always recommend to have both partners checked and both partners cleared, so that you can generate the positive environment, at least for some time for yourself. And especially, definitely recommended for the partners, all partners involved, to take a look at the addictive behaviors and heavy drinking or drug intake and all of that. Perhaps you're channeling. Reason number 7, what if you're channeling? Some people start channeling and get so excited that they channel without discretion. They're channeling whatever comes in. And that very often, if you are taking anything into your body, that can stick in there and that can stay in your body. And so I recommend taking a look at who you're channeling, really apply discretion here in the space of channeling, and also making sure that you clear yourself after your work, after your channeling sessions. You can do these things yourself. You can check all of your energy centers. I have meditations online too that you can use that go through all energy centers, and you can apply the same technique, as in taking a look at every energy center and bringing the light in there, and making sure that you do this every day. If you're in this kind of, if you're working in the hospital, if you are channeling, or if you're in an environment that makes you susceptible to receiving entities from all around, then yeah, you have to maintain your hygiene, your energetic hygiene every single day. Reason number 8, some people call them in out of loneliness. Those who work with entities might know that with entity, or those who facilitate entity removal might know that you have a client who seems all good in every level, clean lifestyle, no exposure, no direct exposure or immediate exposure that we know of, right? But then a month later, 2 months later, they have a whole new array of beings coming in, or the similar types of beings, not the same that they had before, but they still keep coming in. And it's like, why is that? Well, very often people are so lonely that they want any company. They want someone to interact with them. It gives them, and them going for sessions makes them, gives them that attention and that craving. And so they will be bringing in the entities, and the entities actually think that they're in service here, that they're helping somebody. Very often people bring these deceased loved ones into their bodies because of the thought that they can never live without them, or because of that person who has passed on thinking, oh, how can I leave this person? There are vows that are made, and the vows that are made of the sort like, oh, I'll never leave you, I'll always be there for you, I'll always protect you. And so they literally follow through, you know, they literally attach to people. Reason number 9, they were not transitioned properly. There are a lot of people nowadays who do entity work or think that they're doing entity work, and they delegate it to all kinds of other beings, and there are many protocols and modalities that don't necessarily see through to where the entities go. I'm not going to beat my own drum here. Kind of, I am actually. I was taught how to do this work directly by the higher self. I was actually shown and practiced within the session that I took with the higher self through the quantum healing hypnosis. And then I've been actually practicing for a year now, and I have learned to transition as beings in a way that they are not interested in returning. And I will have a whole separate video here about that advanced level of entity work, where I will describe different levels of layers and where you transition them and what you do with them. But if the beings were just, it's easy, you know, you can see them as a practitioner, as a healer, you can yank them out, and then if they're just like floating in the air around, they're gonna go right back in. Also, if they would transition in an environment that they don't like, they're gonna think, hey, you know, that environment before in this other person's body was wonderful, so let me go right back there. So if the entities were not transitioned properly, then they are going to return. That's one of the common ones. If they are transitioned properly, then there is an infinite amount of possibilities for the entities to return if you are not following through with your own lifestyle. All these reasons that I just mentioned. So the reason number 10 is there is 7 billion, they say. And again, I don't know who is counting, but let's just take that number. I believe that number. There's 70 billion different types of spirits that are interested in having a human experience through human body. Well, just think about this. You know, if you look at the amount of different types of species that are physical on Earth, and each one has a non-physical aspect. That's just like these things that we can see, right? Imagine the possibilities that are non-physical in the whole reality, in the whole universe, in the whole world. There are all different kinds, and by the way, they will feed on each other, right? If you take a look at Earth, everything is a food chain, everything feeds on the next thing. And so if they're all feeding on each other in the physical reality, how do you think they're behaving in the non-physical reality, right? So we are exposed to the non-physical etheric beings all the time. Our protection is to maintain the high frequency lifestyle, to observe what we take into our bodies, to observe what type of habits of behavior we are practicing, to clear ourselves regularly, to go for regular checkups on the etheric level, maintaining our frequency hygiene. And then the reason number 11 would be that some individuals are just targeted. There are plenty of different types of, I wouldn't say organizations, but I guess that's the best word I can think of right now. There are plenty of different types of structures that actually manufacture and train and direct different types of etheric beings. And so they are as widespread as flu, and some individuals are really targeted. They kind of follow it, right? They just went through a clearing, and a few months everything is good, but then they were too tired, or they were too drunk, or they, I don't know, they had exposure to something where their defenses went down. Heartbreak, by the way, is a very powerful door opener as well, because our hearts in good place keep our defenses up. The heart energy emanating love is the best level of protection from entities. But if you're going through heartbreak and you just went to a sports bar and you got trashed, and then you want to work to the hospital the next morning and you only had 2 hours of sleep, and then you picked up a stranger and had a one-night stand and you don't know what that person get. Hey, you know, this is the scenario that would definitely, I'm exaggerating here, but yeah, you know, this is the scenario that would definitely bring you a whole new bouquet of things, even if the ones that you had were properly transitioned. So it is very important to pay attention to behavior, to habits, to addictions, to maintaining your frequency hygiene. And so I recommend, you know, you would know when something is off, right? And this, you can live with this something off for a while and you can stretch it. I personally go for checkups probably sometimes every 3 months, sometimes twice a year. It depends on how I feel. Sometimes when there's a lot of exposure and I know that, oh, I just was open to different levels of stuff, then I would go by like as per need kind of thing. But on average, it's about twice a year, maybe every 3 months. And I also do the clearing. I do the energetic clearing on myself the same exact way as I do sessions for people. The same exact way that my meditations are structured, and I recommend very much for you to follow one of my meditations. The most recent is called Into the New, and I actually was targeting beings and attachments through every center within that meditation. So that's a very good, very high frequency meditation that can assist you. But if you feel that, you know, well, it's not working on your own, go ahead and go to a professional. So this is all I'm going to cover today in this video. Please go ahead and check out the video about principles of advanced entity work, where I describe different types of beings and how to interact with them, how to properly transition them. If you'd like to have a session with me, you can reach me at isabellagreen.com. Please send me a session request form and I'll get back to you to schedule an introductory interview. Thank you for tuning in today. I love you. Take care. Namaste.